Good afternoon, everyone. Still a crowd outside, so there might be people trickling in, but I think we're going to get started. So welcome to our next breakout session, which is Data-Driven Multi-Channel Lead Nurturing. And we are very excited to have Biju Muduli here from Carbonite, who's going to walk us through what she does and how you can do it.
Good afternoon. I hope everybody is coffee and energized. So data-driven multi-channel lead nurturing, and I have two examples to show you: pre-purchase and post-purchase lead nurturing, and the keywords being data-driven and multi-channel. So I'm going to focus on how we use data and how we use multi-channel lead nurturing. And before I go into the actual examples, I just wanted to give a little bit overview about Carbonite, our products, and our business model, so that you can follow through the contextual data collection that we do today. So this is the agenda. We'll talk about Carbonite, our funnel, and the examples, and the result from those two nurturing programs. So it's Carbonite. So what we do? So our solutions is basically data protection and disaster recovery solutions for SMB and home, small to medium-sized businesses, and also for personal use. It was founded in 2005, the IPO was 2011. We have 80,000 customers that are SMB and 1.5 million personal customers that we have today. We have 8,000 partners, revenue $136 million today, and 850 employees worldwide. Primarily focused on North America, but we have offices in Europe and in Canada as well. So our sales model. We have annual plans, 1 to 2 year subscription. It's a SaaS model, so not enterprise software, but a software business. 2 lines of business, as I said, for individuals and for businesses. And here's the key part: transactional and high volume. So that, and I'll come to that. In terms of solutions, so personal solutions. The computer backup, we have 3 plans, start at $60 per year. So again, so you see the AOV, the average order value for a personal solution is very low, 60. That's what, it has to be transactional. It has to be high volume for you to actually get into the, $136 million revenue. And we sold through direct and indirect. Business solutions, backs of computers and servers. 5 different plans starting at $269. Again, the AOV is on the lower side, which is why we need the volume and we need it to be very transactional. For the personal one, we have a 15-day trial. For the business one, we have a 30-day free trial. Again, both are sold through direct and indirect channels. So how do we make money? From prospects, it's anybody who tries our product and then buys, or people can come in and buy without trying. So that's for new business, for prospects. These are the 2 sources for getting our revenue. For customers, it's upsell, cross-sell, and renewal. So for a SaaS business, it's really, if you think about the business model, a lot of revenue will come from renewal and upsell and cross-sell, and which is why, in the examples that I was showing you, I have an example for prospects and what we do with existing customers to keep them, renewing our product and upgrading to other products. And this is very traditional sales funnel where it's very typical in an enterprise business where you see you drive in traffic through different acquisition channels and come in as inquiries, and you do lead nurturing, pre-MQL lead nurturing to get these inquiries to MQL, and then the MQLs will be sent to sales, and after they follow up, there's a post-MQL nurture based on what sales feedback is, whether people convert or they didn't, so it comes back to marketing for post-MQL nurturing, and at the end then you end up with your conversion. Again, very traditional in an enterprise business. For Carbonite, a little bit different. A funnel is not a funnel, is actually a Mobius loop, meaning, and here, I would like to walk you guys through what different stages that stages of customer we consider for our sales cycle. So it starts with discover, consider, evaluate, purchase, use, and then when it comes to renewal time, you're again evaluating whether I will renew the subscription I have with Carbonite or go the other way. So it never ends at the first purchase. So the reason we have this funnel is, again, our buyers, very short sales cycle. You think about backup software for personal or business, $60 product, $269 product. Not everyone starts with at the top of the funnel. Sometimes people know what they want. Yes, I have a business. I need to back up. Carbonite is my choice of solution. So they can enter at any point. They can enter at purchase, like indirectly, because there is brand equity and people know Carbonite. But there are some people that that where we need to actually put the word out there saying, what is backup? So that so the concept of backup, and then they will then going through the discover page and then the evaluation phase and purchase. For us, nurturing, then we start at first purchase. So again, a SaaS-based model where once you get the customer in for 1 year, and our subscription model is 1 to 3 years, and people can buy 1 to 3, but most of our customers, like 90% of our customers are 1 year, and 10% of customers are 2 multi-year subscribers. So for us, that's the first point we got in, but we still need to nurture them so that they renew. And that's why existing customers for us are a big source for leads. And the reason why they're a big source for leads is upsell, cross-sell, and renewal revenue. So going into the loop. So now, what channels are we using for each of these stages? So a lot of discover, getting the word out there, increasing our reach. We do a lot of radio, podcasts, display advertisement, and that's where we're getting the reach, and that's where we're explaining what backup is and getting people to visit our website. Consider a lot of display with Google Display Network, with paid Facebook ads, and for evaluate, we're doing a lot of non-branded search. Again, display too. For purchase, Google, Yahoo, being all of the branded search terms, that's where I was telling before, when people, the branded search term being Carbonite, Carbonite backup, when people know what they want, they know that they want backup, and they know that they want Carbonite. For those, the call to action is buy. We don't say, download this white paper from this Google search. You actually buy from there. And then use, once people buy, we make sure that they're using the product. A backup product is not a product that you consciously use. It's an automated product. It runs in the background, and you might forget about it. So we make sure that the customers know that it's running in the background, and we use emails, pop-up support to make sure that they're using it and getting the value out of it. And I'll walk you through what we are doing to make sure that they are doing that. So out of all these channels, what are we getting? And these are some of the examples. Radio, the NPR script, what we're running today. And radio is a big part of acquisition channel that we have today to drive the traffic into Carbonite website, affiliates, and display, based on behavior, based on criteria that we give to the display networks, so that we run Carbonite ads in there. And the result is, if you see, so there is 35% of the traffic coming to our product engage sessions. What I mean by that to Carbonite website is there are FAQs, there are support, people coming into those. We don't consider them as the product engage session. It's basically people coming into product pages, plan pages, buy pages. And out of those pages, how are the acquisition tactics, how are they contributing to the product and engage sessions? You can see, direct load is 35%, the brand equity, paid search, radio, and radio you see 8%, but we think that it's a lot of, sometimes people will hear it on the radio, but will type in carbonite.com because that's what we are promoting. So a lot of radio is actually in here that we are not able to track. But affiliates, display, and natural search. And with all the acquisition tactics we're doing, when people come to the website, what do we want them to do? We have two distinct call to actions. And that's try or buy. The product pages are designed so that they will give you all the information you need, what backup is, what will be backed up if you buy a personal plan versus a business plan, and why are they different, and why would you need two different plans. But at the end, and everything, all of the information on the website is not gated. It's not gated. There's no form you have to fill in to actually get to those. That's for free. The only time you give your information is when you try the product or buy the product. And again, for a very lower AOV, $60, $269 product, these two are our main distinct call to action because that's what we want people to do. Now, the buyer's journey. Once you get to Carbonite.com, is you come in as an anonymous visitor, and based on our call to actions, which is try or buy, either you try or you purchase without trying. Then you use the product, and then you are coming up for renewal or upgrade. And where does nurturing fit into it? So the pre-purchase nurture is here when you're basically trying the product. And the post-purchase nurturing is right after you purchase the product. So it doesn't we don't wait until renewal to start nurturing, but it's right after you buy the product. That's when we actually start to do the nurturing. And for both nurturing, and this is where I said the data-driven part comes in the picture, is in our marketing systems, we not only have what their behavioral data, what they're doing on the website, but once they start a trial, we have integrated our systems with our working with product management, what people are doing with the product once they start the trial. So a lot of data points. So we collect a lot of data points in the marketing system about usage. How are when they are trying the product, what are the different stages that they have to go through, and do we know, if we, at one point of time where people are in their trial process, and what are we doing to actually get them from, are they having a good experience with the trial process, or then they are more likely to convert to a paid customer. And this is again a timeline in terms of days. when the trial starts, they have for SMBs the trial period is 30 days. So in the trial conversion window, we get through to the different trial steps that they will go through, the prospects will go through. And then there's the usage window, and then there's a renewal window, and we have communications for each window so that to make sure that they are engaged, both prospects and customers are engaged with us throughout their subscription window. So now comes so basically, and this is the first example, going more into details about the trial conversion. And this is the 4 stages, the 4 steps that people go through. So they'll register for a trial. It's a software, so you have to install the software. So you install, then you start backing up your data. And if you are happy with all these 3 steps, the next thing is for you to purchase the software. And what are the channels we're using today to do that? We're using marketing automation, which is again, like I think most people do. Like, you have a series of campaigns or a series of email campaigns that you automate to send to people. But with marketing automation, what we do is, because we have so many data points and we track everything, we use dynamic content really, really well in each and every touch points. And then we use retargeting for trial users. We use pop-ups because again, the software is downloaded on the trial user's machine, so we can actually send pop-ups to their machine. And we use inside sales and customer support. So during the 30-day trial period, there are the 6 types of channels that we're using to make sure that people in the trial period are following the steps correctly, getting the support that they need from us, so that it's a good experience for them during the trial process, and finally, that will lead to the conversion. The big thing to remember, for Carbonite is we want it to be very much e-commerce driven, meaning that we want it to be so it's automated that people will do it themselves. So when your AOV is that low, it has to be very much automated, and it cannot be 5 salespeople actually calling you and getting you to convert. Because a lot of margin is there, to make sure that what we're doing in an automated fashion is basically getting people to convert.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. What percentage of people who do the trial convert? Because with backup software, right?
Yeah.
It runs in the background. It's invisible.
Yeah.
So unless you have a tragedy, you don't really know, right? Did
Right.
this thing work or not?
Right.
What's the percentage of people who, if they go through all these steps, they pretty much probably buy, right? If it was easy enough?
So our conversion rate right now is at the end is 45%. But I'll walk through
Okay.
how it actually happens from steps to step, because even sometimes when people sign up for a trial, doesn't mean that they're actually going to go through the whole trial process. But our goal is basically to get them through the processes. Like if they install, they're more likely to back up. If they back up, then they're more likely to actually buy. If you don't know what's going on in between steps, then it's hard to actually say, oh, from trying to purchasing, why, and if in any month, like in a given month, if it goes down, where is it actually going down? So it's really important to actually get into the different steps and see how they're moving. So in terms of using the multi-channel nurturing, obviously the biggest contributor into the conversion is marketing automation and dynamic content. But I'll show you at the end. We'll look into how these different touch points are contributing as a percentage. Like, what is marketing automation doing versus retargeting or pop-up and customer support or inside sales is contributing to the conversion. Going into marketing automation, so this is like, again, very like, straightforward marketing automation flow where like we know that it's a 30-day window. Here are the, when someone signs up for a trial, we need to send them a welcome email, and then what do they do after that? So we have a series of emails going to the trial users. And the first one that you see is, we call it like healthy trial users, meaning they are doing what they're supposed to be. They started a trial, so they register for the trial, they install the software, and they're backing up, and then we recommend them based on their usage, like what they should buy, because we have multiple plans. And that's the healthy state. But then there are unhealthy, when we say unhealthy, meaning someone actually registered for the trial but didn't install the product. So we prompt them to actually install the product. And if someone install and isn't backing up anything, and we don't see any, not like, I think we say more than like 1 gigs of data, that if they don't have that, then we prompt them to actually back up their files into our servers. So there are the different tracks for different people, like what they have based on their action. Okay.
Oh, sorry. How many days is your trial?
30. 30 day for the business one, and for personal it's 50. And this is like an example, like the welcome email, and this is where like we basically focus on them installing the software. There's nothing else. Like what is and how can you install the software? Like, you can do it on your own, obviously, but if they don't know what to do, we ask them to call us, at a number, or email us, or if they can schedule a time if they don't have, they don't have time right away. So we have three sources, like 3 ways to communicate back to us, saying how can we help you with any installation. So that's the welcome email. It was very focused on their next step, the immediate next step. Then so one comes from Carbonite. It's a very designed email. The next one is actually coming from a sales rep that has been assigned to that account. And this is again marketing, automation driven, where even like the from and the signature and everything is driven dynamically driven from Salesforce, like and it gets populated, saying, okay, your 30-day trial has started. I'm here to help you. So instead of coming from a machine, it's coming from a person. I'm here to help you. Here's my number, and here's what you can do. Any questions, raise your hand. And again, you can see that the signature and everything is very personalized to the person who has been assigned.
Do you even personalize the non-business ones, like an account manager?
Yes.
How do you scale that?
It's automated.
But from an account perspective, you assign an account owner in
Yeah.
Salesforce to every individual.
Yes. And that comes back into the automation system. Yes, so everything is automated. They don't actually send it.
I'm thinking more from the sales side.
Yeah.
That felt difficult to model and manage that many sales reps. Or do you do it like, is it covered based on a territory?
It is.
Okay.
It is based on territory. I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but we'll see how many people buy themselves versus a sales assisted sell.
Yeah.
For us, it's a high percentage of sell is actually by themselves and not sales assisted, which is why we can scale it to your point. And again, another the third is to get to know Carbonite. We have a webinar, recorded webinar that walks you through the entire process, like this and this, very detailed 10 minutes webinar, but that basically gives you everything you need to do during your trial. In terms of metrics, these are the metrics we track, the initial metrics we track in terms of are this effective or not. Our open click-through rates are on the higher side, but again it's expected because these people are trying the product have shown the interest. So they can range from 42% open rate to 12% click-through rate.
What do you use for your marketing automation tool?
We use Marketo. And now comes the dynamic content. Yeah.
Are you measuring that against the controls? So who's in a flow versus not in a flow, and whether those metrics change?
We do A/B testing, to see, if we just actually revamped the trial conversion emails to see, how differently people react to different types of messages. Meaning, the test that we did was, coming from a generic email address to coming from a dedicated account rep. And if I go back, you can see, the first one is very generic. The second one is from a sales rep, and it has 42% open rate, whereas the other one had 37% open rate. So we saw a real lift by adding a sales rep, basically sending it from a sales rep versus just a generic email one. So dynamic content, and this is, I'll show you 3 versions of the same email. So it's not 3 emails, but 3 versions that we send on day 15 of their trial, where we're basically showing what you have done so far. On the first section, it's very personalized. So if it is sent to the trial user, how many computers are they backing up, how many servers are they backing up, and how many pieces of data they have backed up so far. And here we are showing that this person or this company has backed up servers only and no computers. So in the email body, we're saying, you have installed Carbonite server. Now you can try Carbonite Pro for computers. We're encouraging them that, okay, you're done with one part, but you still have computers if you're a business. So how about, installing the software for your computers as well. The same email going to another user that has backed up one computer, no servers. Here is how many files you have backed up, and this is where we are saying, you've installed Carbonite Pro for computers. Now you can actually, start installing your servers. So again, it's the same email, but different content, different sections of content based on what you do. And this is where I say, our marketing automation system is integrated with the data warehouse, where all the usage data is there. So we extract that data, use that data to do personalized content and to do dynamic, to show dynamic call to action for those users. And if you have done both, if you've done computer, if you have installed computer and servers, and you're backing up both, then we actually show you an advanced feature at this point. So again, personalized and very personalized and dynamic content. Open at 37% and click-through rate at 9% on this email. Now comes pop-up. So that was until day 15. So you're halfway through your trial. As you get closer to your end, after day 20, we start pushing messages that is very subscribe now. You've done, you're backing up this many servers, this many computers, this many files, and you should subscribe now to make sure that they are protected in future. And the emails, very personalized and targeted towards the usage, like what they have done so far. But we added, and pop-ups are something that we added very recently to trial conversion, where because we have the software is on their computer, they can actually pop up very short and sweet, and the call to action is subscribe now. And this is an example. And we say this is where we try using a little bit of scary messaging, where say files will be at rest in 7 days, and this is like kind of content we're saying, this many files on this computer will go unprotected, and by now. Again, trial expires in 3 days, and if you don't subscribe, these files will be deleted from our servers, and again, it's getting that messaging, getting it across in not in an email, because again, email is one channel, but if they are not listening into or looking into emails, they will act on the call to action on the pop-ups that's popping up on their computer. And I'll show you when we added these, like what is the contribution to trial conversion.
So quick question, if they do use your backup because something happens during that trial period, do you have the nurture campaign going a different way?
We don't.
Okay.
We mean like they if they had something happen and they have to recover the file,
Yes.
they can actually use our server to restore.
Right, so if they use your server to restore, there could be another push to say, we just saved you now, wouldn't you want to buy this? Like, do you have another segment of your nurture campaign?
We
for that?
don't, and like it's funny you said that, like there's not a lot of incidents of that happening.
Oh, okay.
But it's a great suggestion to actually think, like, if it happens, then yes, like to have that
Right.
nurture program saying, and I think at that point it's probably going to be the conversion is going
It
to
could
be
be very
a
high.
lot higher.
Yes, I guess.
Yes, I said mine happening. So, a great suggestion.
Oh, no problem.
And again, like the open rate, like is 45% and 8% click through. So as you're getting closer to your trial end, like the more and more we get people to click on it, get people to act on it, the higher the conversion rates are. And how do we use inside sales? So every time that there's someone tries, this person, the trial user, gets assigned to a sales rep. And in Salesforce, we create 4 tasks for them to go and check in. Like, they don't need to call them right away because it's a trial process. People will take their time to actually try the product and then, get the experience and then purchase. But what the 4 tasks, what we ask the salespeople to do is look into Salesforce on their accounts and see the progress of the trial. They can see, okay, on this day, this person started on this day, did they install the software? And if, for 5 or 10 days they haven't installed the software, these guys are actually, the tasks are created for them to call that person to say, hey, do you need help? Same goes for backup. Like, if they see that, okay, in the progress in Salesforce, they see that, someone has installed it, they're not backing up. Again, they're saying, if there is any help.
And you creating the tasks from the marketing automation or
From Salesforce.
No, from the but who's creating the tasks in Salesforce? The trial data, all those tasks that have to come from the product, right?
Yes,
And
so
it
that
goes
is
right to the
integrated
product.
as well. Yeah. So this is where, like, all our systems, both marketing automation system and Salesforce are tightly integrated with our data warehouse. So we can always see like the progress where people are.
How many accounts does a typical sales rep have? Because obviously they've got a lot of follow-up. I'm just curious what's included.
They can have as many as like 50, but they don't have to go into each and every one of
Right,
them.
right.
Only if it's needed.
Okay, but at one time they might have 50 that they're looking at.
Yeah. And again, so software installation backup, and sometimes even though we sell through e-commerce, you can actually purchase our software on our website. Sometimes people are like, I don't know, I can't use a credit card, who is gonna help me? So they also help with purchase if necessary. But again, our from a margin perspective, we want people to buy online. But if there are scenarios where people can't do that, and we have a task created for our salespeople to assist the trial users if they would help with purchasing as well. Retargeting. So, yes?
You're kind of heading there, but I'm curious, do you have a user experience management tool that you're using, that you're integrating in with your data, that lets you know whether people are dropping off because the page didn't load in 40 seconds or less? Are you using anything to measure that?
Not that I am aware of. We use so the client itself has built-in capability to send that data to our data warehouse, saying where, if, and I'll share an example where we track everything, right? So on a given day, we are looking at, or actually we do it on a weekly basis, the cohort is weekly, where we see, what are the rates going from registration to install to backup to purchase. And it shows you in a linear graph as to what the percentage has been. So let's say registration to install, our daily, our weekly rate is 84%. If we see, and we actually did see that, if we see that it went from 84% to 74%, which happened probably 2 months ago, a 10% decrease from registration to installation, that happened. That's when we actually go into to our data warehouse to say what's happening, and that's where we found there was an error in the installer because of Windows 10.
Yeah.
And we needed to do a fix right away to get that to back up to 84%.
Right. But so you're not using any tools that do that in advance. You're just responding to it when you see it.
Right.
Okay.
So retarget. And this is how we are using retargeting during trial conversion. So we do all this with email market, with automation, with dynamic content, so that people will buy online. And we actually see people going into the buy pages, the plan pages, picking a plan, adding it, but still they didn't convert. So we track that, and we use retargeting to show them a discounted offer. We don't give the discount right up front, but if you're a person, you showed you tried the product and you showed interest in purchasing by going into the buy pages, but for some reason didn't buy. And a lot of when we look at our service of not converting, a lot of reason is price sensitivity. So that's when we introduce the concept of discount, but not before that. And here are some of the discount versus it's not too late yet. Save up to 30%, for a limited time if you buy now. In some cases, we use what's the latest trend that's happening, ransomware, which is it's happening quite a bit, and we're running this ad right now to say here's the reason again you should consider buying backup, and as an additional incentive you can save 30%. And the 30% is multi-year, but if you buy for 3-year plan, you can get 30% right now. And again, I'll show you how retargeting is influencing the percentage of conversion as well. And this is another one. So retargeting is when they click on buy pages, and abandoned cart is when people add a plan. They just didn't click on the buy page. They clicked, they also selected a plan, still didn't convert. And that's when we trigger an email, like right after like an hour, saying, did you forget something? Like, you added this plan to your cart, but if you, for a limited time, we're doing this, and you can get like 2 bonus months if you buy now. Again, more like, yeah.
Do you think that I've heard a lot that people are getting immune to these type of like offers? They know that if they leave things in their cart, that they're going to get discounts. Do you worry about that?
We are not, because we know, like, from the surveys that we do at the end of a non-convert or a non-renew, like why, were you actually dissatisfied with the product? What was the reason why you didn't convert? First reason is price, which is why, like, why we go towards discount or free months to get them to purchase. I mean, we haven't seen a diminishing return yet to these offers, because like once we do, like, people come in and like, those people who didn't, they come in and buy. Again, like, for this email, for the abandoned cart, like we have 40% open and 13% click through. So, on the higher side of click and open.
I have a question on that. Is you just hit them once with that?
Right now,
Or you
we
didn't?
do one.
Okay.
We're doing once.
Okay.
But yeah, like, based, and this is, we implemented this November of last year, and so far we have seen like really good result, but yeah, probably something for us to think, like how we maximize on that too.
So are you talking about just renewals at that point? Like if somebody puts something in their cart, how do you email them if they've never provided email information?
They do, so because they tried, we have their information.
Oh, so this is after they try, they're ready to purchase.
Right,
Gotcha.
right. Even for NTP, like even for no trial purchase, we do the same abandoned cart as well. But for no trial purchase as well, you have to create an account with us to add a plan.
Oh, you
That-
do?
yeah. So we still have their email address, and we do it for the abandoned cart. We do it for both no trial purchase and for trial purchase as well.
And is it just email that you're targeting, or are you using social ads and other vehicles?
Right now, email and retargeting.
Okay, just email. Okay.
Yeah. So. And this is what I was talking about, like, how we are tracking, like, the success step for each stage in the trial. And this is like, something that we use Tableau to look at it and the cohort is on a weekly basis, where, the percentage of people installing versus registration, backup versus backup over installation, and conversion over backup. The first percentage, like, from registration, I couldn't actually put it in the percentages in this because it's supposedly not to be written and communicated, but I can speak to it that from registration to installation, we have 84%. From installation to backup, it's like 88%. And but when we look at registration to conversion as a whole, it's as high as 45% right now. Again, like, I think it used to be 42%. Now it's up 3% because we added in the pop-ups, retargeting afterwards. So overall, it has gone up, from 42 to 45. These, some the tactics we try to get people to buy more towards the later half of the trial. We try to continue, like, what can we add, or what can we improve? What tactics can we use to improve that conversion? So it's an ongoing process of optimization. And this is like, where the percent is influenced by channel. Majority, as you would expect, still come from the automation part, like, from the email, dynamic content, personalized content, making sure the call to actions are they are clear. So 57% of it's influenced by marketing automation. Pop-ups were big. adding the pop-ups, like it was like totally eye-opening for us, and we started doing that even for renewals as well. And we are seeing a big increase in renewal percentage because of adding pop-ups. Inside sales, 14%. You know, that's I think somebody was asking about like how is inside sales influencing it? Because and we want it to be a lower percentage because we want people to actually buy on their own for a lower priced product. And retargeting, you saw like some of the display retargeting ads. That's also it's relatively new as well and contributes like 2% for the conversion. Any questions on the trial conversion? Yeah.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Sure, it's me. For your business accounts, or your business clients, do you tailor your campaign any differently, or is it the same whether it's a consumer versus a business?
We have different streams for consumers versus business. And the consumer trial is 15-day. And again, a lot of it is geared towards getting them up and running. And the people who support consumer trial is actually our support group versus the customer support group versus the business is more, there's a dedicated business team that handles it. So two different streams for both trial conversion and renewals.
Have you, through this you can measure ROI easily, but have you also measured velocity through the trial process as a result of each of these stages?
We do. So, so we use Carbonite. So we have 4 different tools to actually measure a lot of stuff. Carbonite is usually used for a lot of revenue driven activities, and we measure what percentage of people. I don't have this slide here, but what percentage of people in trial are buying on day 1, day 2, through day 30. So that then we can say, is the cadence right? Are we not messaging in the 15-day, the first 15 days versus last 15 days? But we do track that to make the adjustments.
And it starts at day 1, not at day 30. So you don't wait for people to get through the trial.
No, that's why in the beginning we don't if people want to give their credit card, we got you. So we don't want you to and we give, if you buy on day 3, you still get the 27 days left in your trial plus 1 year. And we make that clear in the emails. If you buy it right away, you're not going to lose your. So a lot of people actually do that, where they can get 12 months plus 1 month. If you're somebody is smart, figures it out, saying I can actually get 13 months for the price of 12.
I think we need to wrap up.
Renewal, I'll go through this quickly, but there's a little bit of difference in renewal, but very, the channels that we use are very similar, but for renewal, our nurturing starts right after purchase. Again, a low-touch product, runs, behind the scenes, so we need to make sure that customers, who have our product are realizing the value during the usage period. So what we do is we give them a monthly account summary with tips and tricks, saying, this is your monthly account summary. Here's how many files you have backed up. And you can see your files online. And tips and tricks, based on what month, in that month, whatever we are doing. If there's a threat, ransomware, are they aware of it? Here are the things that you should, if something is suspicious, you should do this. So all of that tips and tricks is included in the monthly summary as well. We keep, and there are alerts that we send through email and pop-up, making sure that their backup is up to date. Sometimes people don't turn their computer, so unless you're connected to the internet, we don't actually, it's not continuously running. So we prompt them, saying, hey, your backup is 2 weeks overdue. You have to turn on your computer and make sure you're backing up. All that. And again, we have used-based customer support that you can contact, phone, email, chat, whichever way you prefer. So that nurturing, that's happening during their usage window. And in the renewal window, again, we use marketing automation, personalized and dynamic content, pop-ups, and we just added customer success manager, like a customer success team with 6 people that are dedicated totally to the renewal profile. For us, renewal is a big contributor to our revenue. So even our renewal rate is high in terms of industry standard, but even with that, we want to be higher and higher to get the most out of it. So this is an example of the monthly account summary email that I was talking about. An alert email where we're saying, your backup is 2 weeks overdue, and we make sure that they have enough information in there to take the next action, the corrective action. And again, for these, the engagement rate for the emails are really high. We 45% open rate for the monthly summary, 11% click-through rate. Alert emails, because they are alerts, they have up to 60% open and 17% click-through rate. So we try to make sure that they are healthy.
How often are you refreshing the copy?
The alert emails, probably every year or even more than that. We don't touch them, but the cadence we do differently. So we have, again, in using Cognos, I look at a dashboard, and this is me, customer support and product management team looking at it together, saying, this is how many people are using it correctly, this is how many people are in trouble because their backup is not up to date or they don't know what to do. So based on that, we change the cadence sometimes, whether it's weekly or whether it's monthly, but not the content. And so that's during the usage window. For renewal, again, we look at usage to do renewal period is when we target customers for upsell. If you're a personal customer or you're backing up a server and you're backing up a lot of data, then that's when we target them for cross-sell, meaning you should buy the business product, and here's why. And same for business, we have 5 plans that start at $269, but that can go up to $1299 based on how many servers, how much data you're using, and that's where we target them for upsell opportunities. So, and again, so in the renewal pool, if there are 100 people up for renewal, we target probably 80 to 85% for renewal, but there's 10 to 15% people we target specifically for upsell. Okay? And here's marketing automation in terms of giving them multiple emails with personalized content, and we show them if you don't renew, your 530,000 files will go unprotected. So that showing that personalized number is it works really well. And you can see that 45% open, 37% click through, but again expected because these are existing customers, they know us. And this is where upsell and cross-sell is more personalized. It comes from a sales rep saying, and it's a letter format. Again, these are all automated, but it looks like it's coming from a person. And this is what I was talking about. So this is this is very brand new. And we have a customer success team now with 6 people where we used a BI, our business intelligence team, actually created, and this is homegrown, where they created a churn model saying, based on the behavior, previous history, how many customer support tickets they have with us, or were they, at some point dissatisfied, or if they're using the product, if they don't have a lot of things in their backup, they have a high likelihood of churning, getting off the subscription. So BI has come up with this chart model where we identify customers with high, medium, low probability of churn. And what we do for high and medium, we target them for renewal calls. Like if the customer's pointing, we'll actually reach out to them saying, what's wrong, how can we help you? Whereas if you have a low churn and you have a high usage, like then that's where we're targeting them for upsell. And so again, the results are renewal 80 to 85%, and the close rate for the upsell process is like 80%. Thank you.